A final reflection. I have to talk about this. One of the problems that we on the right have is how do we end the apology culture without ending apologies? Because, of course, Trump is a good role model in not apologizing to the left whenever they twist your words and all this stuff. But sometimes you do something wrong and you should apologize for it. But the actress Anastasia Lin, who is originally from China, I believe, writes a piece in the Wall Street Journal, "The Cultural Revolution Comes to North America." And the Cultural Revolution is a good thing to remember. This is something that Mao did because Mao was nuts and all his communist programs didn't work. Not only did they not work, they caused massive, massive famines. There was a massive famine from 1959 to around 1961, I think it was, massive famine, tens of millions of people dying because of collectivization, because they took people's individual farms away, because Mao declared how much vegetables you could get out of an acre of land, which had nothing to do with reality. And because of that, people were afraid to plant anything because they would be thrown in prison if they didn't get the amount they were supposed to get. And so Mao's policies just destroyed the country. And he did, and I don't want to compare Obama to Mao here, but it is the same thing that, the same principle that when Obama's policies didn't work, he suddenly started pointing, look over there, the cops are racist. Look over there, transgenders can't use the bathroom. Well, when Mao did it, he started screaming, look over there, we've got to purge the evil capitalists and Western sympathizers from our midst. And he set the kids off against each other and off against the adults. So suddenly students were beating teachers up and throwing them out. Suddenly they were, reporting on their parents and all this stuff. It was this so-called cultural revolution that gutted the intellectual classes of China, just an absolute atrocity to cover up the fact that communism doesn't work. And so what Anastasia Lin is writing about is the way social media now is fulfilling that means. Obviously, it's not as bad as the Cultural Revolution, but it's the same principles at work. She talks about a friend of hers, Kaylin Ford, who spent her career advocating for international human rights and supporting victims of religious persecution. She was going to run for office in Canada. This is in the Canadian province of Alberta. But then they caught her saying something about the fact that nobody allows you to question Islamism and its relationship to Islam. But the minute somebody talks about white supremacy and you start to think about, well, what causes white supremacy, then suddenly you're tagged as a white supremacist. So she was tagged as a white supremacist, even though saying she thought white supremacy was abhorrent. This is kind of what's happening, this chasing down of people, this calling them out for anything they say. And look, all of us say things that we wish we didn't say. Every single one of us says it. If that is going to end our careers, if that's going to end a person's career, it can be done to anybody. And it just becomes a question of who has the most power, who has the most strength. I think it's a sad thing when you can't apologize for being wrong, because you should be able to say, oops, I shouldn't have said that. Right. Gee, I lost my temper. That was a dumb thing to say. Oh, maybe I had a couple of drinks and I shouldn't have said it. You should be able to do that. But in this current climate, it really behooves you to stand firm against people. And I think that's a terrible thing. That is a terrible system where you can't even apologize when you're wrong because they will not accept your apology and they'll come to get you. Right-wingers have to think about this. We cannot be so fast to fire people, to destroy people, to ditch people because we're afraid of the left. We have to stand by each other and accept apologies and model that so that we can show the left to be what it is, to be an unforgiving, graceless movement that has replaced God with politics. I got to stop there. I'm Andrew Klavan. This is the Andrew Klavan Show. I'll be back from Hillsdale College tomorrow.